I have truly sad news to report to all of you, and I don't really know any other way to convey the message other than letting you know in the most totally not drawn out, not overly dramatic way possible that orcs are canceled. That's right.
What's happening out there?
You call them orcs. But I see black people.
Not once, not twice, but I believe the third time orcs have been canceled by oversensitive weirdos on Twitter. I woke up this morning. It's Sunday. I film. Little behind the scenes fact. I film ahead of time. I'm getting that Wayne's World thing. You know, you got to do that, like comb back behind your hat now. I film the day before when I can, so that Mondays, my day job is very busy, and I have to do that most of the day, and it's stressful to have to film and do that. So now you know. Nonetheless, orcs are canceled for being problematic, I guess. So here we go. CW. I don't know. Is that a content warning? I'm not exactly sure. Blatant racism. I am in genuine awe that this stuff came out for this edition of D&D. Holy spaghettis! Well, look, I've been involved in the D&D community and Magic the Gathering community and board gaming for a very long time. And the reality is there is a significant portion of kind of your, how do I say, unhinged lunatics that play. I mean, just look what happened to me at Gen Con just a few years ago. There are absolutely a lot of really bizarre people. And for the most part, you just love them. We all love each other in the gaming community. In particular, board games and trading card games, I think the brotherhood or sisterhood goes even further than in video games. But anyway, let's see what the D&D manual had to say. Role-playing an orc. Most orcs have been indoctrinated into a life of destruction and slaughter. But unlike creatures who their very nature are evil, such as gnolls, it's possible that an orc, if raised outside its culture, could develop a limited capacity for empathy, love, and compassion. I don't know about you, but all I can think about is black people. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? I think I have about 2% black subscribers, so I'm sorry. I'm thinking of you now more than ever because I'm reading about a mythical creature in a D&D book. No matter how domesticated an orc might seem, its bloodlust flows just beneath the surface. With its instinctive love of battle and its desire to prove its strength, an orc trying to live within the confines of civilization is faced with a difficult task. I couldn't think of a better metaphor for the black community, right? Isn't that what everyone thought about there? Isn't that what we were all thinking when we were reading this Dungeons and Dragons book about a mythical creature? I mean, literally what? And you can see the comments are, of course, you realize they're talking about fictional creatures, right? Here's Samante Banks. I think he follows me too. Yeah, I've seen him around. This isn't racism. Orc with a hard R. Oh, he said it. He said it. He used the hard R. I'm begging you to please learn how to read text. Just basic media analysis stuff. I mean, really? How desperate do you have to be offended by things? I mean, if we go back to 2018 and even before, really, there were a lot of think pieces written calling J.R.R. Tolkien a racist. You see, in demonizing orcs, the ugly and monstrous enemy of the elves, did J.R.R. Tolkien just betray a belief that some races are worse than others? That's the debate that has been at the heart of claims that the British press recently accusing the Lord of the Rings author of harboring racist views. That's right. The orcs in his fictional movie about fictional characters is really the manifestation of how he really feels about black folks. The subject of Tolkien and race is not new. It's been discussed comprehensively by scholars, including my own study. What's more, it's already been explored extensively by the media. The last burst in the media debate was 2002, prompted by Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movie trilogy. What does it need? I need the editor to pull up that clip. Everything's racist, everything's sexist, and you need to point it all out. Imagine choosing that existence. And you can see the argument, obviously, Tolkien's Middle-earth is hierarchical, employing the medieval chain of being, a powerful visual metaphor that ranked life forms according to their proportion of spirit and matter. God and the angels are at top, human beings below, animals further down, and so on. Similarly, Tolkien's elves are at the top of the Middle-earth hierarchy, while orcs are at the bottom. Maybe because they're literally born out of the mud and conjured? I don't know. I guess I can't say that I'm an expert in orc birthing, but from what I know in the movie, they just came out of the mud. I don't know. I mean, but by the way, at no point in the 12 hours of movies, extended director's cuts, or the books that I ever think of orcs as black folks. And I don't think any significant portion of non-paid thinkers ever have. Similarly, theology, this works and are still worked as long as Tolkien was writing mythology. That is the cycle of elvish myths and legends that make up the Silmarillion. But in writing The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien switched narrative modes. He was now writing a novel with the different demands of this characterization, dialogue, and so on. I mean, everybody know. Does intention matter? No, intent doesn't matter. It's all about being offended. In The Lord of the Rings Middle-earth, it is a place where different races and people need to come together and cooperate to triumph over what is predominantly a moral foe. The scene where Samwise Gamgee is looking at a dead foe, wondering whether he was truly evil or just being coerced into war, is far more demonizing the enemy than dehumanizing the other. Such complexities are the reason some literary works continue to be read and have different meanings for new generations. Why orcs are problematic in Dungeons and Dragons. Aww, it's just so bad. Of course, comicbook.com, which tends to lean a particular direction and has no problem lording that over their viewers and judging people from their homes, has already started writing articles. A 2016 passage from a D&D rules book has fans once again talking about long-standing problem with how orcs are depicted in the tabletop and other pieces of fantasy lore. See that there's actually a word in this sentence that should tell you it's not a big deal. I'll give you a hint. It's called fantasy. If you're looking at orcs and the first thing you think about is black folks, that says a lot more about you than anyone else. While orcs have their roots in goblins and other fairy tale creatures, the modern concept of orcs in tabletop games largely originates from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. No, it doesn't. What? Are you saying all the orcs in Magic the Gathering came from Tolkien? Do you have any evidence of that? As depicted in Lord of the Rings, orcs are depicted as inherently evil humanoid creatures, and Tolkien described them as, in the latter, as degraded and repulsive versions of the, to Europeans, least lovely Mongol types. Coupled that with the fact that Tolkien depicted entire cultures as being representative of good or evil, many viewed orcs as a reflection of the other, a philosophical concept used to paint entire cultures as somehow inferior to evil, or evil because they were different. Well, I mean, there are some that are better than others. I don't want to go down that road. Of course, I prefer to side with individuals, not necessarily a particular culture. There are always good and evil people among a particular culture. And again, we're talking about fantasy here. One passage in this article reads, described in passages like the one criticized by Welsh Wilson, many people see games like D&D as codifying and normalizing the use of racial stereotypes, which leads to both racist situations and in the gaming table, and encourages racist attitudes getting adopted by some players. What? The actual crap. What they're saying here is D&D makes you racist. I'm not kidding you. For instance, a player using an orc race. That's the argument here. That playing D&D makes you a racist. Think about that. Now think about the fact that somebody took the time to type this and published it on their website. Big brain stuff here. You can see this. If you're reading about orcs and your mind immediately goes to they are talking about black people, you are the racist. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. And then Amir Amaraz, let's see here, just a suspect. Oh no, okay, I was not right there. All right, I just had to check the bio. Hey, so if you're stumbling into the D&D orc discourse and are one of the handful of people here with an open-minded and genuine desire to understand what's going on, welcome. This thread is going to be for you, a master list of resources that explain the problem, if you're willing. Historical context starts with the article explains a lot of historical roots of the issues with orcs, including the letters in which Tolkien described them as least lovely Mongol types, amongst other context issues. Step 2, the modern continuation. The article bridges the historical bias with modern issues and context and helps explain why it continues to be a problem. I mean, why? Why? Nobody, and I mean nobody, is thinking like this. You have to understand that the language that minimizes the humanity of another is one of the most common tools of bigots who seek to justify their actions by treating the oppressed learned as a group as less than. This is a fact of our terrible, terrible world, according to Amir. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm not purposely mispronouncing it. The language here. The language used here is the language. Orcs, sentient beings, can be domesticated. They have... Why is that wrong? I mean, have you ever seen the movie? Let's just take a cursory look at orcs. I mean, could we say the same thing about zombies? Did you ever see... what is it? Oh my God, the Simon Pegg zombie movie. I'm trying to think of what it is. At the end, his buddy is still a zombie, but they play video games together. Or there's also the one where the zombie learns to love. I don't know. These are all works of fiction. Good Lord. They have an underlying inherent rage and bloodlust that's just part of their biology. This is harmful because of the real world parallels to a ton of racist tropes. Are you joking? So you're not allowed to have evil characters in mythology. Is that the point here? You can't have anything that represents pure evil. Or what if orcs were white? Would that be okay? Because I'm starting to think that maybe that would be. I mean, orcs are brown, and simpletons see brown orc must mean brown humans in real world. Fake brown orc in book must be fake real brown person neighbor across street. I mean, who is this dumb? Step 4, an illustration of the limitations of this trope. Hi, folks. Orcs discourse is happening. Let's talk orcs. It's a fake character in D&D and other, well, obviously other, D&D, Tolkien. Orcs have been in every mythological books, for as long as I've been around. But I'm sad to say, no more role-playing as orcs. No more defeating orcs in video games. If you see an orc, you should offer them a job. You can't look at orcs as the enemy in the Tolkien films. They're just misunderstood, held down by a complex system built to oppress them. I'm not exactly sure what the case is, but man, board games and D&D sure has a weirdo bunch of fans. Not the real people that play the game. The people that use the game to, of course, project their ideology that no normal person would ever listen to unless they attach to something like D&D and get their attention. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.